Good morning. Beat you.
Oh, man. Really? Why are you going to do that to me?
Hey, guys.
Why do you do me this way?
Well, you know, I'm not competitive.
I'm not even halfway through my cup of coffee yet, so you fine, you win.
You know, I only have 1 cup of coffee a day,
Liar.
but it's a 20-ounce cup, so I fill this to the brim. No,
Oh, I thought you were going to say I have 1 cup of coffee today. It's bottomless.
That's you. That's you.
Hey, I have done better lately. I typically, except for our dads with coffee time, I'll drink a cup about this size at home, and then I'm on water the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Now, I've been struggling a little bit about 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and so I'll go into the office and make me a San Antonio or a Texas pecan 10-ounce, and
So
out of Miss Linda's Keurig that she's gracious enough to let us all use.
a lot of you will remember Mark Burnett, who was a music minister here when we first got here in 2006. But he had a clock in his office. It was a Dr. Pepper clock,
Oh yeah, 10, 2, 4.
10, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it? I don't even know what that means, 10, 2, and 4. Yeah, to get through your day, you have a Dr. Pepper
At 10, 2, and 4. That's right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Dr. Pepper.
That's a lot of sugar.
But, yeah, I just saw that he finished up his doctorate this year.
Oh, wow.
And
Congratulations, Mark.
he had this,
Dr. Burnett.
He had this stack of Dr. Pepper cans.
That's what it took to get through
just
it.
a mountain of Dr.
That's
Pepper.
what it took to get through it. Oh, my goodness. Well,
So let me tell you some things I learned last weekend. We had Ryan's graduation from college last weekend, and as the graduation is beginning, it starts talking about the degrees that will be given out.
yes.
And the president says, today we'll be giving out terminal degrees. I got a little nervous.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was.
Is that
I
a
don't
death
know.
certificate? I mean,
I didn't know what in the world a
Yep.
terminal degree was until they started calling names. I'm like, wait a minute, these are doctoral degrees.
right. It's terminus is the Latin.
It makes sense because
Yeah.
you don't get a degree higher than a doctorate
Right.
degree.
You can get another doctorate degree, but there's not one after
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
if you didn't know that, there you go. If you did know that, I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
It's okay. But this weekend we are pre-recording. If you didn't know, so I'm not going to be
See,
able. To,
I wasn't going to tell him.
yeah, but Eric's going to say something.
Yeah, he is. Then we're
He's
not
be
gonna
like,
respond.
Keith, why didn't you acknowledge me? And I'd be
Right.
like, well, Eric, I didn't want to lie to you.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to Missouri this weekend. My niece, the only niece on that side of the family, is graduating.
Good deal.
You know, with our 4 boys and Sarah's Skeeter, and then Nathan Lee have 1 and 1. So we get to go celebrate Micah this weekend. She's graduating high
Nice.
school, going off to
Nice.
Truman University in the fall in St. Louis. No, I don't know where Truman's at. It's in Missouri. It's also important. It's in Missouri. Yeah, we get to celebrate with our graduates this past weekend. It was
Yes.
very nice. Very
Yes.
nice. Graduation season is upon us. May is the busiest month.
Oh my goodness.
This year?
Yes. Yes. May is busy, and you went and added an extra thing to your life. You added a garden to your life this
what-
last year.
Okay.
I mean,
You can.
I mean, so who's going to tend the garden this weekend?
Carter.
Oh, it's because he's not going,
Yeah.
is he?
Carter's house / dog sitting this weekend.
Okay, and working yet?
Not yet. You're a 19-year-old, really strong guy that can do just about anything you ask him to do.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
yeah. Well, if we have to move, I may hire him out.
Okay. Got a really strong back and good arms and nice frame.
Gladiator moving, is that?
But yeah. Some people won't get that reference. So yeah, you know, COVID has taught us a lot. Okay, you just have to ask on Sunday. Be here Sunday to ask what that was. Rewind it, look back. I'm like, what did he just
What did he just do?
What did he just do? And yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. But
Anyway, gardens. You planted a garden.
well, here's the thing.
Brad Pitt bought a zoo. You planted a
I'm
garden.
no Brad Pitt, but I'm trying to raise some zucchinis and some squashes and some cucumbers and some
Tomatoes.
special pickled cucumbers. I didn't know there was such a thing.
You can grow them pickled?
No. I wish.
You're right.
I wish. I'm not really.
If I
I
can
don't
just
like,
have pickles off the vine, man.
I don't like pickles. I'm kind of.
Who are you?
I know. I don't like vinegar. So that's what it is. I don't like Tabasco sauce because it tastes like vinegar.
So you like Cholula instead?
I do.
Yeah. My daughter's all about the Cholula in mashed potatoes.
Oh, yes. You can't, look, if you don't have Cholula where you're at, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can order it online. Amazon will send it to you.
Yeah. It's got the iconic
Yeah.
wooden cap. You can't beat it. It is the best hot sauce.
We bought her 2 big bottles for her birthday. She was a happy camper.
Carter's all about it too. He is. Anyway, gardens. We did a garden last year. We just had a little garden.
Yeah.
Marcus
Yep.
decided that, I'm bored. We're not working. I got to eat something to do. I can't throw trees around in the backyard all day. Let's build a garden. And we did. We didn't grow much last year. We planted some strawberries that didn't do much. We planted some tomatoes that didn't really do much. We planted some peppers that really didn't do much. I was a little bit frustrated,
Right.
but we started late, right? We didn't start
Okay.
until late March, early
Oh,
April.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, this year
You would think that would work, but you really got to
Well,
get that stuff ready in February.
you do. Now, I'm no gardener. I'm not the greenest thumb that you'll ever meet.
No, I'm not either.
But I could tell you this: we got some squash coming up.
Well, okay, let's back up a second because it's not like you just threw some seeds out in your backyard. I mean,
No.
you did the whole raised garden
We did.
idea
So we
thing.
have-
So, I mean, and you just don't have zucchini. You had to go way back and start some things.
I'll tell you what: if you've never built a rectangular cross-shaped, rectangular T-shaped in a triangle, you've never.
There's
lived.
a whole lot of geometry you just said right there.
I'm telling you, we did
In physics.
It's 3 by 5 by 3 by 3 by 9 across the back. Okay. The middle section, the middle 3 is double raised,
Okay,
so we have deeper rooting plants there.
right.
But it's in a triangle. We have this weird triangle in our backyard. We've wondered for years.
Welcome to
what-
city management.
What in the world can I do with this triangle? Because
Yeah.
for some reason, back in the late 60s, they put sidewalks in your yard. We have a sidewalk that goes around our yard. It's great because our yard floods sometimes and we have that sidewalk to go to. Yeah, you have the same look I had when I'm like, I mean, it's cool and all, but why
Why?
do I need a sidewalk in my backyard? And every
why do I-
backyard in our neighborhood has it. Marilyn Hurd used to live in the neighborhood. She can tell you all about it. So we have this triangle. And we thought, okay, we can fill the middle. We have to point it a certain way. I've never come so close to just leaving my house forever. Joanna and I are both a couple of alphas.
Yeah, I have that in my house too, so I get it.
We both like to be and when we get an idea in our heads
Yes,
and the other person can't see that idea in
which
our
is usually
heads,
you.
Yeah.
I've heard this conversation though. Adjust your hat, buddy.
I know.
I've heard this conversation. Dang, can't you see it, Joanna? I cannot see it. You have to draw it. I cannot see it.
I can't see it.
But I can just see it so clearly. Let me explain it to you. It doesn't matter what you say. I cannot see it.
It's called aphantasia. It's a real thing.
And the reason is that I know this is because I've had this conversation in my house.
Yeah.
Because she can like visualize it. And I'm
Can't
like,
do it.
you give me some blocks. Let me figure this.
It got to the point where earlier in our relationship, if I was going to rearrange the living room, I would have to move everything. So Joanna, she did a scale drawing of our living room,
And cut it out.
a scale drawing of every piece of furniture in our living room, so that we could
You can play with it.
we could play with it. And
That's
see where
that's
everything
before the
goes.
computer generated 3D modeling.
Right. Well, we don't do that anyway. We're hands on, cut
Yeah.
and pasters. Anyway, so she has this idea about how to place these. We put blocks, then wood on the blocks, and sticks and blocks. It's easy. It's easy. Once we got the center 2 blocks, once we got the center where it needed to be,
Okay.
then the rest of it just fell together.
There's some truth there.
There is some truth there.
And I know you said it that way because there's some
Right.
truth there.
So there's 4 blocks across the back, 4 blocks across the middle, 2 blocks here, and then 2 blocks up front on that 5-foot section. Well, until we got these 2 out of the 4 placed, nothing else.
It doesn't work. Right.
Couldn't center anything, couldn't level anything, couldn't do anything with it. So once we got these centered and we decided on how we were going to center these, man,
And then level it.
our life just fell in place.
When the center is right, everything else is right.
You could say a lot about the center being right in your life. Once the center is right in your life,
Yes.
then everything else is going to line up.
Yes.
We talked last week about Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Yes. I mean, the center of your marriage, the
Yeah.
center of your parenting, the center of your church. You know, churches can have centers that isn't Jesus.
No, absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
can have a lot of things in the center that isn't Jesus.
But once you get that
Yes.
center in, then you start laying your foundation. And you get everything level, you get everything flat. And after that, you're just dumping in dirt.
In ancient times, you know that what that was called. It wasn't the center, it was the cornerstone.
Yeah.
The cornerstone had to be set, otherwise the wall wouldn't be straight and the wall wouldn't hold if you didn't have the cornerstone set.
Wrote a song about
Which is why Jesus is the cornerstone in Scripture. Same thing here as your
Yeah,
center.
it's the exact same thing. It's finding zero and then building off of that.
Right.
So we got that laid in. Okay, that was good. And then we went to a nursery in Rendon. No, it's not in Rendon. It's in Burleson. It's on the backs. Ask me, I'll tell you where it's at.
Somewhere over there.
And we bought plants, just starter plants, right? No
Right.
fruit on the vine or anything, just starter plants. And we began planting. Well, you have to plant certain things by certain things. Like there are certain plants that you can't plant near tomatoes. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, so if you're growing a garden, there are certain things that you don't want to grow near tomatoes. But there are other things
Because
that
they
will help
cross-pollinate too bad?
there are other things that will help your tomatoes grow even better. I don't know exactly what those are,
Right.
but I did know that when we were planting everything.
I know who knows, though.
Yeah, Joanna knows.
Google knows.
Google does know. Google is your friend when you're starting a garden. This is the first time we've ever done a garden, a real garden. You know, we have families in our church that every year they bring in tomatoes and
Right.
peppers and green beans and potatoes and more tomatoes and big tomatoes and little tomatoes. And these are the green thumbs of the church.
Right.
I'm not there yet, trying to get there with Joanna's help. And so we've planted this garden. We get all the dirt, you know, certain dirt mixtures, the right amount of fertilizer, the right mix of this, the right mix of that. You have to do a little bit of research. Now, some people just go out there, they turn the dirt over, and
Well, it's because they had dirt that was already ready, pretty
they
much.
have that experience. Experience
Right.
goes a long way when gardening. I'm a green hand, right? I'm just learning. I'm fresh. I don't know a thing about nothing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we start in life. You don't know a thing about nothing.
Right.
And so you have to learn through experiences. And
Right.
sometimes you have to fail. Sometimes, you know, you learn from those failures.
Right.
WD-40 isn't WD-40 because they got it right on the first try.
No. Wasn't it a failed product of some kind that they found a use for?
Yeah, just like Post-it notes.
Yeah.
I mean, you try to make some crazy glue and like, oh, you can take it off and reuse it, put it back on.
Suddenly 3M becomes a multi-billion-dollar
Let's
industry.
put it on the back of a piece of paper and see what happens.
See what happens. So you've got the boxes built, the dirt in. You got to be careful not to overwater, and you've got
Put the right plants with the right. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like they have to be around, like growing. They need the right types of soil. They need
right.
different types of soil, different nutrients. They can kind of marry off of each other. So herbs are good to put with tomatoes. I didn't know that. So we have some cilantro and we have some basil and, you know, I guess kind of all the Italian things that you would kind of throw into
Right.
an Italian dish, you can plant together. And
Right.
then,
All the Southwest things you plant
yeah,
together.
so then our peppers we have in a different area. We got jalapenos and we got bell peppers. So you put all the right types of plants together and they grow well. Squash and zucchini, I didn't know this, but they're climbing vines.
Okay.
And they're gigantic bushes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big they got.
Can't plant those too close together.
No, I mean, we have a 3-foot area, and they are, 18 inches apart, and they're still trying to grow toward each other. But I look out there, and I got this little zucchini out there, or this little squash out there. I'm sorry. I always get zucchini and squash mixed up. I don't know why, because I never ate them as a kid.
Right. Right.
But they're fun to grow, and they're fun to grill, and they taste delicious.
Absolutely,
Right.
they do. Yeah.
Olive oil, a little salt and pepper, a little garlic pepper, garlic salt. Nice. But I have these, and they're just, I looked out the other day, and the great thing about a garden is just seeing the growth from one day, even just one day
Oh
to the
yeah.
next.
Oh yeah.
You walk out and you see, man, look at that. I got a squash growing. Or, man, look at this. I got a tomato. We finally got our first tomato started growing. I don't know, Monday, Tuesday. I don't remember when it was. But I'm like, it's like a new dad. Look, I got a tomato.
Yeah.
Look at my little tomato. I don't know that it's going to stick.
Right.
But, we have a tomato. And the weather hasn't helped us a lot down here. We're not
Need
getting
some sun.
Not getting the sun that we
Need
need.
some
We're getting a
sun.
lot of water. so
Tomatoes want a lot of heat too.
Yeah.
They really do want some
They
heat.
need, and they'll tell you on the packaging, whenever you buy something at the store, this product needs 6+ hours of direct sunlight.
Yeah.
Not just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I told you last year we started a garden. Well, we did strawberries last year, and we just did 2 plants of strawberries. By the end of the year, we had about 9 or 10 strawberry plants in this one container. We put it in a plastic tub, put it out by the fence because we didn't want the dogs to get into it because
Yeah.
dogs are terrible on a garden. They just, especially boy dogs, if you know what I mean. They think everything's a fire hydrant.
Yes. Yes, they do.
And so this year, for Mother's Day, we made just a tomato box, or just not a tomato, a strawberry box. So we took all of these plants that we had that were they were all getting bound up in this one little area, and we put them in a 4x4.
Spread 'em out.
We put them in a 4x4. And all we did, we cut the sides off of the container, slid the bottom out from underneath it, and just, man, it's like the roots sprung open. They were so bound up and so knotted and so tied together that they had no room for growth.
Right.
There might be a Bible lesson. in
I'm
that,
sure there
too.
is. There's that's why I want to talk about gardening today. There's all kinds of lessons you pull out of gardening.
So we take that and we put it into a 4x4 square. Now, initially it's only 12 by 22, right? But this thing, just in the 2 weeks that we've had it, has almost overtaken the entire 4x4 box.
Right.
Just with like 8 or 9 or 10 plants, strawberry plants. Now, we haven't seen any fruit from them. Why is that? Well, they're out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take them a while to get comfortable where they're at to be ready to bear fruit again.
Again, all kinds of things.
I think that'll preach.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes we have to get used to our surroundings before we want to get too involved in anything. Well, sometimes when we moved the strawberries, we took them out of their
Right.
home, per se. But by doing that, we allowed them to flourish.
Right.
We allowed them, so maybe stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that you're not really comfortable doing will allow you to grow as a person the same way that
Right.
my 9 little strawberry plants, this time next year, I'm going to be able to make strawberry shortcake.
Right. Well, and in the same way, you changed their environment. And so it
For
would-
the better.
for the better from your perspective.
Right.
From the plant's perspective, they're like,
I don't want to go
I
there.
don't want to go over there. I don't want to do that. And yet they love it now.
Yeah.
But what happens so often in our own lives is we don't want to make the change, but we do make the change and we get impatient with feeling better about it. And so we gravitate to go back when we just have to have the patience to see it through.
See it through.
And it's like I tell, I go in to get a haircut and they're like, well, how do you like it? I said, it doesn't really matter. You've done it now, but 2 weeks you won't know.
Yeah, what's the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut?
2 weeks.
Couple weeks.
You know, and so
For guys, anyway.
you made a significant change in their environment.
Yeah.
And now it takes time for getting accustomed to the new environment, getting used to the new environment. And that's going to take a lot of patience on everybody's part.
I may not get another strawberry out of those bushes.
Not this year. It may be next year.
I may not.
Yeah.
But I have to be willing to accept that risk.
And space and time in the garden.
And to trust that this time next year,
Right.
all will be right with the world again in my
Right.
strawberry patch.
Right.
It just takes time. And
As does everything.
and you know, I tell kids all the time, we live in a microwave society.
Yeah.
We want what we want, and we want it right now.
Right.
We did a musical about that when we were in New Orleans. Seems like forever ago. Josh Byram, Joel Byram, Mandy Blackman, Mandy Bowes. I'm sorry, Sean Bowes.
Right.
All my kids from New Orleans are all married and have kids of their own.
Right.
Not just kids, not babies, junior
Right.
high kids.
Right.
I'm not that old.
Second generation youth right
Yeah,
there.
I'm not that old yet, but maybe I am. Maybe I am.
But, so you've got some things coming up on the garden, and that's always exciting.
Yeah, and just to, like I said, just to be able to go out and see the changes from day to day. We talked about the weather. We've planted marigolds in all of our, and I didn't know to do this either, but you do, because they attract bees. Well, how do things grow?
You got to have bees pollinate
We got to have
stuff.
bees. Bees have to pollinate
Right.
the rest of my plants. So, we planted a bee-friendly backyard, even though I'm allergic to bees.
Right.
I think I'm only allergic to bees because I got a mass stinging.
Right.
Not really. But yeah, so we planted these. we planted marigolds, and we have, 2 in the strawberry garden, and we have 6 or 8 in the big garden.
Just to get them there.
Just to get bees there. Sometimes we have to do some things that don't make any sense just to get them there. Doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to me, but it's needed in the long term.
It is. And the attraction of the marigolds isn't the product.
No, because marigolds don't do anything.
They're not
don't
going to do
provide
anything
for me.
But if you don't have the bees, you're not going to have the fruit you want at the end of the day. So you've got some attraction in order to get the things in you need in order to have the long-term plan. Because your long-term plan wasn't, hey, that's a nice looking box.
No, it is a nice looking box though.
Your long-term plan is, I want to have some Italian seasoning.
Yeah.
And I want to have
I
some
want to be able
salsa.
to make some salsa.
I want to make some stuff.
I want to have some peppers with my brisket or with my.
Right. But to do that, you had to map out your yard. You had to go through the confrontation of dealing with putting boxes in a triangle.
Yeah, it was fun.
You had to build the boxes. You had to fill it with dirt. Then you had to put the right things next to the right places. You had to put some attraction in there in order to draw what you needed to get the next step of the process. The bees are necessary and yet still aren't the product you're looking for.
No.
And
They're a worker.
They're a part of the whole process.
Yeah.
But the attraction isn't the product, and the bee isn't the product, and even growing a nice looking plant isn't the
we
product.
have some nice plants with no fruit on them yet.
And this is why Jesus cursed a fig tree.
Uh-huh.
Is because he said, "You're not bearing fruit the way you're supposed to, so you're dead to me." In essence.
In essence, yes.
John 15, he says, without me, you can't bear fruit. But if you don't bear fruit, you're not of me anyway. And so the whole point is the product is the fruit. Whether that's characteristics, proof of life this Sunday, whether it's characteristics in your personal life or evangelistic in seeing people come to Jesus.
Right.
If you have a beautiful church but no baptisms, you're failing. You can have a beautiful family on the outside, but if it's wrought and fraught with danger and negativity inside the house, then that's not really the point.
It's not a good family.
It's not the family that anybody signed up for. And so, it's got all the work and time and patience and adjustments in order to get what you want at the end of the day.
Right.
And that's a life lesson for so many different things.
Garden is a huge life lesson to teach. Man, if you have young children, go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get these raised bed blocks and some 2x8s
Yeah.
and plant a garden. And just take them out there every day and just let them see the miracle of life.
Because we haven't even talked about the weeding.
No, there's a lot of work that goes into these things.
You got to keep the weeds out, otherwise it chokes the life out of the plant.
But that's a whole nother lesson for a whole nother day.
I mean, so much is valuable in the practical gardening. Just doing the gardening. This is something
you're
that we all need to look
cultivating
at.
life.
You are, and that plays out in student life. It plays out in marital life. It plays out in your vocation.
Yeah.
At work, you're going to be asked to do things you don't want to do, for the hope that it's going to be a part of what the larger process
And
is.
that is so hard to teach,
Because I want
older kids.
I want what I want. I want it now.
right? You have teenagers. They have it all figured out until they finally leave, and then they realize they don't have it all figured
They
out.
don't have anything figured out.
No. And then Marcus was the worst. Dad, I'm fine. Dad, I'm fine. I got it. Dad, I'm fine. Got it. Dad, leave me alone. Hey, Dad, how do I? Hey, Dad, what should I? Hey, Dad, can you reword this email for me? Hey,
Yeah.
Dad, should I send this text?
And how much of you down deep
Oh,
so wanted to say, I thought you had this.
yeah, you do.
The sarcasm, the dad sarcasm really is churning up at that moment.
But at the end of the day, you never stop parenting your children.
You don't. It's lifelong.
I hope to never stop parenting my children and give
Right.
them advice and lead them on the right
It's
path.
just a different style.
Yes.
The difference in perennials and annuals.
Right. Yeah.
Annuals.
What do you mean I got to plant it every year?
Yeah, annuals, it's
How did
like
all this work
when it's
last
dead,
year?
you got to redo it all. Perennials, at least they come back.
Like college students, they always come back.
They always come back. Wanting more food and water.
Right.
And
What is this? You were here last year, weren't you?
hey, go plant a garden.
Yeah.
It may be too late now at this airing, but consider it maybe for next year. I think we're even tossing the idea around, so nobody lose your mind over this, but we're tossing the idea around of having a community garden for our church to have an opportunity to meet our community. And we have a big space of land out there, and I know it was somebody's dream to do that a few years ago, and we've brought it up. It's been brought up again. Hey, what if we did this? And so, and that be an opportunity, because some people don't have the opportunity to do that, or their HOA won't let them do
Right.
that. I mean, some HOAs, you can't even have a dirty car without getting a fine.
Sure.
So I doubt you can put a garden in the backyard. But you can come up and possibly do it around here. So it would be something that
would be
we're
cool.
tossing around and just trying to be a part of that. Because there's so much good that can come from gardening. There's so much good that can come out of a community type of situation like that. Yep. Well, good luck on your garden.
Thanks. We're headed to Missouri this weekend, like I said.
Yep,
so
yep. And as long as
I'll
it gets
miss-
tended over the weekend. See, we planted gardens for a few years, but because of our schedule in the summer, there would be a stretch of 2 to possibly 3 weeks in June that are so difficult to tend to the
Yeah.
situation. And we never did the raised garden idea. I just tilled up
up
some
the
land.
ground and-
Yeah. And so by the time we got back from convention and the piggyback vacation on top of that, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it was done.
Shot.
Because I didn't have, at the time, we didn't have timers for the watering. And then, and so it just became a useless endeavor.
Now here's a pro tip for you. Don't do it to save money.
No, it's cheaper to go buy the vegetables at the
Just
store.
the initial
It
investment.
just is.
But do it for the time that you're going to spend with your family.
Yeah.
Do it for the time that you get to experience growth in life.
Do it for a purpose.
Do it to just chill out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
You
relaxing.
can take out all your anxieties on the weeds.
Just chill, throw, talk about it.
A not so bad day, the weeds are just right here in the pile. A really bad day, they're back there at the fence.
Yeah, they're
Hey, you guys have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you later.
Love you guys.